How's it going, troops? Jordan here, back again with another Black Ops Cold War loadout video. Today's loadout is a big throwback to the original Black Ops from 2010, so today's loadout is titled Black Ops Veteran. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up and hit subscribe, and let's jump right in. With this Black Ops Veteran loadout, we're going to be recreating a popular class setup used by players during the golden days of Black Ops. Because we're going to be choosing a veteran configuration from Black Ops, this loadout's playstyle is going to be veteran. And as we're using specific weapons, equipment and perk choices to recreate this popular Black Ops setup, I've labelled today's loadout difficulty as moderate. Starting off with our primary weapon for this Black Ops Veteran loadout, Black Ops offered a bunch of cool fun weapons from the 60s and 70s to choose from, like the M16, the MP5K and the Galil. But I think we can all agree there was one weapon in particular that dominated the lobbies of Black Ops, and that weapon is the good old French FAMAS. The FAMAS makes a return in Black Ops Cold War, although it's now called the FFAR-1. So for this loadout's primary weapon, we'll choose the FFAR-1, aka the FAMAS. But of course we can't go in bare bones, so let's talk attachments. Our first attachment is going to be the Millstop Reflex. The Millstop Reflex is the exact same red dot sight model from the original Black Ops, and so we'll equip it on top of our FAMAS. Next attachment is the 34 round Speed Mag. The 34 round Speed Mag acts like sleight of hand from the original Black Ops, and while Warlord was also a pretty useful tier 2 perk, I think us Black Ops veterans can agree that sleight of hand was the best tier 2 perk in that game. This Speed Mag also buffs up our magazine size to 34 rounds as opposed to 25, which aligns more closely to the original FAMAS. And lastly, our third attachment is going to be the Speed Tape. The Speed Tape acts like the Pro version 2 sleight of hand by allowing us to snap onto the bad guys more quickly and get the kill on them. So now that we've discussed our primary weapon configuration, it's time to move on to our secondary weapon of choice for this loadout. For our secondary weapon, we're going to choose the Magnum Revolver, which in Black Ops was known as the Python. This deadly revolver was used by all sorts of tryhards and snipers, which is why it's probably the most iconic pistol in Black Ops. So to replicate it in this setup, we'll select Cold War's equivalent in the Magnum. And just like our FAMAS, we can't go in bare bones, so let's talk attachments. We're going to choose two attachments for our Magnum, with the first being Fast Mag. Fast Mag not only helps us to reload our Magnum much quicker, but again also acts like sleight of hand from Black Ops. And for our second and final attachment, we're going to go with Dual Wield. The Dual Wield attachment was also featured in Black Ops, and was definitely the most popular attachment with the Python. So because of that, we'll choose Dual Wield on our Magnums too. On my last loadout video, I received a suggestion from one of my subscribers to include several classes in each loadout video. So I've taken this suggestion on board for some of my future loadouts, starting with this one. If the FAMAS isn't your cup of tea, then here's an alternative configuration for you to run with. For our primary weapon, we're going to select the XM4, which back in Black Ops was known as the Commando. In regards for our attachment choice with the XM4, we're going to choose the standard suppressor, the jungle style mag and the Speed Tape. As for our secondary weapon, we're going to choose the Gallo SA-12, which of course is known as the Spaz-12 in Black Ops. And for our attachment choice with the Gallo, we're going to select the Agency Choke, the 22.7 inch extended barrel and the 9 round tube mag. So now that we've discussed our primary and secondary weapon configurations, it's time to move on to our perk setup. For our first tier perk, we're going to choose Flat Jacket. Flat Jacket has been a flagship meta perk in nearly every single Black Ops game, and the first Black Ops is no exception. Flat Jacket in that game protected us from grenade and explosive spam, with the Pro version granting protection against fire damage, and the perk in Cold War acts pretty much the same. For our tier 2 perk, we're going to choose Scavenger. Scavenger was another popular perk from Black Ops that not only allowed us to scavenge ammo off the ground, but also refilled our lethal and tactical grenades as well. Sadly the latter isn't part of the Scavenger perk in Cold War, but still lets us resupply ammunition of dead bodies, so we'll go with Scavenger as our tier 2 perk. And for our third tier perk, we're going to go with Ghost. If you haven't noticed already, my perk choices reflect 3 of the 5 perks that were from the tier 1 slot in Black Ops, and that's because these perks prominently affected your style of play. Ghost was definitely the most controversial perk from Black Ops though, as it kept you hidden off enemy spy planes and encouraged noobs to camp in corners and bushes. It wasn't just the noobs who used Ghost though, as a lot of pub stompers and tryhards also used this perk in combination with the suppressor attachment. Despite this, Ghost in Cold War is an improvement to its former self, as now you have to be on the move in order for the effects of Ghost to work. Moving on now to our wildcard, equipment and field upgrade. For our wildcard selection, we're going to go with Danger Close. The Danger Close wildcard lets us equip double the amount of lethal and tactical equipment in our loadout, and in reference to Black Ops, this wildcard acts like Warlord Pro. So taking a look at our lethal equipment, we're going to choose the Tomahawk. The Tomahawk made its first appearance in Black Ops and became an instant favourite among the community, with many players including myself going for cross-map clips with the Tomahawk in hand. So we'll go with the Tomahawk and double up on the hatchets. As for our tactical equipment, we're going to go with the Stun Grenade. Black Ops didn't have that many useful tacticals, as it usually came down to the Flashbang or the Stun. However, the Flashbang was a lot slower to throw compared to the Stun Grenade, which made stuns the popular choice to go with, and so that's why we'll choose that. And lastly, for our field upgrade, we're choosing the Jammer. Black Ops introduced new equipment options, which included the likes of claymores, motion sensors and camera spikes. Man, I love the camera spike. Sadly, none of these devices are in Cold War multiplayer, so our closest choice has to be the Jammer, which jams enemy comms if they get close to its emitting radius. So now we've talked about our wildcard, equipment and field upgrade, it's time to finish off this loadout with our Scorestreak selection. For our first Scorestreak, we're going to choose the RCXD. The RCXD first appeared in Black Ops multiplayer and was fun to drive around and blow up your enemies with, but equally as annoying being on the receiving end. It's an iconic part of Black Ops, and it wouldn't be a Black Ops veteran loadout without the RCXD as our first Scorestreak. For our second Scorestreak, we're going to go with the Harp. Just like a lot of things in this setup, the Harp also made its first appearance in Black Ops as the SR-71 Blackbird. The Blackbird revealed enemy location and direction in real time and was a must-use kill streak for pub stompers to get their 100 plus kill gameplays with. And finally, our third Scorestreak is going to be the Chopper Gunner. I don't really need to explain this decision. The Chopper Gunner isn't just 402 Thunder's wet dream, it's every Black Ops veteran's wet dream. Rolling back the doors of the Huey, mowing down those red crosshairs one by one, trying to get as many kills before that one ghost user pulls out a Strela 3 and takes you out. That, troops, is why the Chopper Gunner will be our third and final Scorestreak. So troops, that wraps up my Black Ops veteran loadout video for Black Ops Cold War. Next time you boot up Black Ops Cold War multiplayer, definitely give this class setup a try in game and go to Nuketown with your enemies. If you did enjoy this loadout video, then give the video a thumbs up, I'd appreciate it a lot. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, then why haven't you? Hit subscribe right now and also click the bell notification icon next to it, so that way you're always notified as to when I make an upload. If you have any friends who might be interested in this sort of content, then share the video around with them to help give my loadout videos and my channel more widespread exposure. And if you want to see behind the scenes previews of my loadout videos, you can follow me on Twitter at jordanxbrookes for all the latest on there. So until the next video, I thank you all for watching, stay true to me troops, and I'll see you in game.